Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Are we on the air yet here?
Yes.
We're on.
I need a resolution to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Evelyn, seconded by Edna. Any changes? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, we're here today primarily for one reason. We got some bad news this week, and Paul's assistant is gonna be leaving, and that's the purpose of this meeting, to start the process to replace her. So Paul, if you'd like to cover what you think how we should proceed.
Sure, Mr. Chairman. As with any other department that seeks to fill a position, if I wish to fill a position as, an upcoming vacancy as county administrator, I must, of course, apply to the committee for permission to fill the position. In this particular case, the position is the confidential secretary. You all know her. She's Wanda Smith, and she has had an opportunity to move to the court system and take a job with the court system. And so as a result, I would like to be able to fill her position when she leaves. I asked for this special meeting because she has about, I think, a little over 2 weeks left here with us. Also, though, if you would permit me, while we're on the record in front of everybody, and I think it's important to say that Wanda came to this county about 4 years ago, and it was right at the time that I was making a transition from county attorney to county administrator. In fact, she applied for the job to be the legal secretary to the county attorney. And right at that time, I threw a curveball at her and said, well, since we started talking, I'm going to become the county administrator, but I'd like you to serve as the confidential secretary in that position. And she agreed to do that, even though we changed essentially the employment terms on her. And I have never worked with a person who has been more committed, more dedicated than Wanda. She has, in that capacity, I shouldn't say, because I don't want to at all diminish my feelings for Joanne. She has been just absolutely fantastic as well. But Wanda has always had just a bright personality. She's been a very good diplomat for my office. She's been somebody that I can trust and have a great deal of confidence in. The work that I've thrown at her and she has handled has just been terrific. So I just wanted to say that, and I actually have to say that about Joanne as well. I mean, I couldn't imagine working in my capacity without these staff people. And that's in no means to diminish the work of any other department head, because everybody in this county is connected in one way or another, and everybody does an outstanding job. It makes my job as county administrator easier and possible to carry out the wishes of the board. So, but this is Wanda's time, and I wanted to share this with you about Wanda. And then, Mr. Chairman, as I mentioned, though, I did want to ask for permission to fill this position when she leaves.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to fill a position? Peter, seconded by Ron. Any discussion? Yes, Rachel.
How does this get filled? I mean, do you go back to a base salary, or what's the financial piece to it?
In the past, I think, we'd have to talk to Gretchen, I guess, and get a range of salary and figure out what the appropriate salary would be. And I think it'll also determine on the experience of the person coming into the position. And this is one of the difficulties we have right now as a county, as it was alluded to today by the budget officer and the chairman. We really do need to get a better structure in place for our salary and compensation schedules. Theoretically, I think we should have some ranges, and then people, depending upon the experience that they bring, come into the county at a certain range, and then have certain expectations as to what their salary increases will be. We've lacked that in the county. I mean, we've always lacked it, and that was one of the reasons that I drove so hard as I did and encouraged the development of the HR department last year, is because that is, you can't do that unless you have somebody that knows how to do that stuff, and you have the department that can put all that together. So, I guess the short answer to your question is that look to Gretchen for some guidance in terms of salary range, and then ultimately, when we have somebody and we have to fix the salary, I would be back to you folks on that.
So today, maybe I'm just confused. So today we approved the filling of the position,
Right.
But not the salary of the position.
Correct.
Then it would have to come back to, is it personnel and finance, or would it come back to support services before the person is hired?
I don't think there's a standard procedure. I mean, I guess if you want it to come back to this committee first, we can.
I guess my concern is just that, you know, we continue to see positions, paid at a higher salary than, some starting salaries at higher salaries than people that have been here for decades. So I guess what I'm hoping is that we can take a look at the position, put it down to like we were just having a brief discussion about like a base salary, and then recognize, I think it's bad for morale. I think it's bad for people that work here so hard day in, day out, and have been here for 10, 12, 14 years, to have someone coming on board making either the same that they've been making or just a few thousand less. You know, I think that there needs to be a difference in those salaries, acknowledging the hard work and performance of every employee. So I would just...
I think my perspective on that is this job falls into a category of kind of the undefined, kind of a special job, and it's hard to put it into words and define it, I think, because I think there are skill levels involved, there's confidentiality involved, there's maturity involved, and I have difficulty putting a handle on that kind of a job.
I think, though, just to respond, with all due respect, we have job descriptions, so we're pretty able to get it down into words what the job entails, but it's not the only confidential assistant in the county. There's several others. And I think I would just ask Gretchen and Paul, when you're looking at these salaries, to take into account what these positions in other departments as confidential assistants are making, and make that disparity between someone who's been here 14, 15 years and somebody who's just coming on board.
Like I say, I certainly will, you know, go over with Gretchen I think, you know, obviously we would have a salary range, and it's certainly the qualifications of the persons who are considered would, you know, have to be taken into consideration as to what that salary would appropriately be fixed at. So, you know, and I'll be happy, like I say, either come back to this committee or personnel committee, whichever you prefer in terms of, you know, finally establishing that salary.
I would suggest that since Rachel expressed a concern, that we come back to this committee.
Okay.
Okay? All right with you guys? Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any other business? Motion to adjourn. Evelyn and Ron.
Yes, Gretchen has it.
I didn't